Hi, everybody. It has been a few minutes since I have been on my channel, and I am so sorry. But through May, which was Mental Health Awareness Month, I had a lot of different things going on that I was really committed to, and I was making sure that I was taking care of my own mental health during that time as well. So, some people have reached out and commented about, all right, so how did you know that you were in a toxic narcissistic household? And how did you know that your ex was the same way and that your kids were being affected? And so I have decided that to properly address all of these and go deeper into my story, I'm going to kind of like start over. And instead of sharing kind of like the minor things, I want to go into kind of a deeper detail of the things that I recognized very early in my life. Things I knew were not normal, things I knew were not healthy, things I understood were like very wrong, things that I recognized that Polly, the woman who gave birth to me, did very different with me that she did with my siblings. And what I want to do through all of this is to begin to point out patterns, because patterns in my life are really the way that I started to identify so much. And once I began to identify those things, I began to understand. And at the beginning of that understanding, I began my actual true deep healing. And I'm also going to point out a lot of things where I failed and did terribly wrong. Like not having the courage to speak up completely when I was younger. Even though I had spoken up, I didn't continue to speak up. I just kind of accepted what was happening to me. I gave in to the abuse and torture, and I kind of stopped speaking up and communicating with my children. And the impact that that's had on my children has created, their own feelings of abandonment and insecurity in them, and alienation, because I kind of allowed my abusers to continue to be my voice. I shut down. I stopped functioning, not just as a person, not just as a woman, as a wife, as a mother. I had a child, my youngest child, who's home. He was mourning me, even though I was still alive, technically. He missed having an active, functioning mother so much. He began mourning me as if preparing himself for what he believed would become the inevitable. So the most honest way that I can tell all of this and walk through them with you is to continue to share everything I know about narcissistic abuse, about sociopathy or psychopathology, the patterns that I began to recognize and identify, what other people were seeing, which I didn't understand how important all of that stuff was. And I know it sounds crazy, but the man who is now my husband Before we were married, we had an experience at one of my siblings' house. And when we left, kind of that experience continued to go. And I will never forget, we were standing in his kitchen at the time. It would become our kitchen, but his kitchen at the time. And I was in kind of this like emotional turmoil, like this spiral from things that had happened. And he looked at me in all truth and sincerity, and he said to me, "You know, this is not normal, right?" And I know that that sounds very basic, but that behavior had been normalized my entire life, especially with Polly. You know, she was involved with Jehovah's Witnesses, and the level of abuse that is accepted and encouraged within that cult makes things like what I survived very normal. And you will hear stories like mine in many, many families and situations in Jehovah's Witnesses for a reason. And I had reported to them a lot of this stuff, and they choose not to involve the authorities because they believe that they are the authorities. So I'll be digging in, and today I just wanted to say hi and that I haven't disappeared or forgotten anything. Tomorrow we'll begin anew and we'll go in depth, and I will honor my word of consistency, and sticking with you, and walking you through all of these things, answering all of the questions that I've been asked, and sharing also my writings with you, as well as resources that have helped me through, playlist, things that lift me up and encourage me, and products that I personally use for my self-care regimen. And none of these are paid. Like, I don't do anything sponsored. These are things that I learned on my own, work for me, and help to shift and change and reframe my mindset, help to calm me, help ground me if I'm dissociating. They help bring me back. But I think most importantly, these things have been so effective in helping me to process things that for most of my life I couldn't process or were so much bigger than me. So I'm really excited and I'm grateful for all of you, and I cannot wait to kind of restart this journey together. I'll see you tomorrow.